Well, the first time I heard the name Hubbard, I thought, what a weird name. And I met him when he was on the set of the Sci-Fi B-movie that he wrote called Planet Tarragon on Ice. I was playing the lead role of Major General Coriander, and I knew the minute I put on that little tinfoil costume that this was going to be a complete bomb of a picture. But I needed the money, and I owed the director one after he went to bat for me in the face of that statutory railroading. Eldron was one of those guys. He had like a wet handshake and little lizard eyes that never looked at you straight, even when you asked him his choice of whiskey. Once I asked him my character's motivation when it came to a mass killing of the lonely peasants of Oregano sector or some weird crap like that. Why do I remember these lowlights? Anyway, he looked at me with the glazed eyes and mumbled some sci-fi mumbo-jumbo about starshine, interplanetary tit-for-tat, and rubbing God's nose for good luck in your first 25 lives. Huh? Whatever. Yeah, this guy was a real piece of work. Any other circumstance and he would have been drinking lunch through a straw in some state rubber room. But this was Hollywood, and he was able to slip through the cracks pretty easily. Speaking of easy cracks to slip into, did I ever tell you that I betted Barbie Benton? Boy, try saying that 3 times fast. I betted Barbie Benton. I betted Barbie Benton. I betted Barbie Benton. See? Who says alcohol impairs you? Huh? The damn high-minded AAA, that's who, with all their, hello, my name is, save it. In the old days, in which I was an active participant, if you had something that you were celebrating, you drink. If you had something you were sad about, you drink. If you had something that you were keeping a secret, you drink. If you ran into someone you knew, you drank. If you met someone you didn't know, you drank. If you were lonely, you drank. If you met someone that you were paying for, you drink more, and etc., etc. So don't tell me. Drinking was what you did when you weren't doing nothing, and then when you were doing something. Today, forget it. Drinking's lost in the new generation. Flavored vodkas. That's what eunuchs drink. People that ain't never roughed it up with the underbelly of life. Old Eldron was one such a creature, if you ask me. A sheltered sort of strango that kept telling me that the clock always read 2:67. What the hell he meant by that, I got no idea. But hanging out with him creeped me out in the same way that walking to the edge and looking over a cliff with no railing creeps you out. Know what I mean? Anyway, I did the picture, and it bombed like Dresden. And then I went on my merry way, eventually co-starring in a short-lived variety stage show called Manhattan Mayhem with Rita Moreno. It was at this time that Eldron Hubbard called me up and told me that he wanted to start his own religion. I told him good luck. I told him about the time in 1971 I tried to start my own religion based on the god of orgies, but they wouldn't grant me a tax-free status, so I eventually lost my house in Barbados. Anyway, life ain't always fair. So I tell Eldron, don't do it, you lose your ass. Well, I don't need to tell you that Eldron's wacko religion caught on and ended up rolling in the dough. Problem was, around the 1980s, my career kind of hit a major speed bump with the cancellation of my TV cop show called Twinkie and the Bean. So that's when I decided I needed to do something to jumpstart my career, and I thought, hey, why not join Eldron's Scientologists? Everybody was doing it, and I needed to hobnob with the movers and the shakers to get a job, and I'd done it everywhere else. Turkish baths, country clubs, and rehab. Why not church? Well, let me just say, it was pretty frickin' rocky right from the start. It went downhill el pronto. I was a scientist for 1 week, and all I did was talk with some auditor. Thank God my taxes never came up. I tried my best to get the attention of those Hollywood types for a chance to get a TV role here or a co-starring role in a movie here. But it was obvious these Scientology stiffs didn't know how to work a church. Well, after 2 months of going to that Scientology place, I was sitting at home, high as hell on martinis, straight up, listening to the balls-out strains of Fanfare to the Common Man by Emerson, Lake and Palmer on my quadraphonic hi-fi. I came to a friggin' realization right then and there. I figured, hey, if I ain't gonna get a job, and I surely ain't gonna get laid, why am I barking up this twisted tree? Of course, now years later, I look back and think, if only I had the smarts to dumb up with that religion, I could have got in good with all those masters of the make-believe. Anywho, I never heard from Eldron again. I heard he went on and bought himself a yacht and parked it off the coast and lived tax-free ever after, creating wet dreams for Hollywood pretty boys. Meanwhile, I was left here on land, vodka-soaked, starring in a series of after-school specials with Gabe Kaplan. Man, I wish my kind of crazy translated into making money instead of spending it. Did I ever tell you about the time I wrestled Jack Lord in a pit of alligators for the affections of an exotic Hawaiian broad?